And so we've been working with UNCG, Elon, A&G, the Historical Museum, and also the International Civil Rights Museum, John Swain. Yeah.
We thank you, Mr. Brandon. Like I said, lots of comments, beautiful presentation. We really thank you for your time and you putting this together and sharing this space with us. Our Executive Director for the Greensboro YMCA says, thank you for sharing the rich history of Hayes Taylor also. So Hayes Taylor does have its place in Greensboro history.
Yeah.
Again, we thank you for what you've said and done.
Yeah, Greensboro, Hayes Taylor is very important to me. It's very important to the Black community. And I was one of those people who were opposed to tearing it down.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to move on. This is a great place to segue. Again, thank you, Mr. Brandon. We just appreciate you paving the way for us.
Okay, thank you.
Get it on the shoulders of our elders.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Next, we're going to just take a little detour here. We're going to leave the city of Greensboro, and then we're going to pull our vendors in so they can share their important resources and information with you. We have first Tamar Lipscomb from Oak Street Health.
Good evening, Portia. How are you?
Doing well. Girl, I'm excited.
I am too. And thank you and Dr. Merrill for having me here tonight. Once again, my name is Tamara Lipscomb, and I am Senior Outreach Executive for Oak Street Health in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Oak Street Health, let me tell you a little bit about Oak Street Health. We are a primary care doctor's office for patients, for seniors on Medicare, or adults on Medicare. Let me change that, because not all adults are seniors that are on, not all adult seniors are on Medicare. So there are some younger population that is on Medicare also. So we serve that population. We are, like I said, our office is located in Winston, but we do have over 70 centers throughout the United States. And if you're in the Piedmont Triad area, you've seen one on Summit Avenue in Greensboro. We also have one on South Main Street in High Point, and we have two in Charlotte, and we have one in Durham that just opened, and we are opening one in Raleigh in May of 2021. Oak Street was founded in 2012, and our mission has been to build a primary care delivery platform that addresses rising costs and poor outcomes. And we believe that everyone deserves great health care. And older adults have specific health care needs. We all know that. And many don't receive it. So we're changing that. And we work with the patients to personalize a treatment plan that's specific to their needs. They're the navigators. We believe that older adults should have access to good health care no matter where they live. And we have invested in our communities by building our centers in those communities that need us the most. So I do have a little bit to share. Let me go to my share screen. I'm going to share a document with you all. Okay. This is a little bit about Oak Street and who we are and a little bit of our services. We are unique. We care for what matters most. And like I said, you're a person, not a number. And that's why we start by listening to the patient. We listen to you. So we design a plan based on your needs. Plus our Medicare experts will work with you to help ensure that you're getting the most from your Medicare plan. We have a ton of superior benefits. We offer, and especially in this COVID, in this day of COVID, we do offer video visits as well as in-person visits. We have someone, which is a patient's relations manager, that helps you navigate your Medicare benefits when you come in the door. He or she will sit down with you, go over your Medicare benefits, as well as kind of go over if our patients are on Medicare Advantage plans, which I know you've all seen those commercials from United Healthcare, Humana, the AARP. We have someone there to kind of help you navigate those plans or kind of go over any questions that our patients may have about those plans. And a lot of things are changing, of course, with those plans, and we're there to answer those questions for the patients. We also have 24-hour, 7-day support line, around the clock care. So our patients can call at any time. If they're, of course, if it's something that they're in distress, we urge them to call 911. But we do have an on-call support system where a physician will pick up and talk to them and kind of navigate and find out what's going on. We do preventive care. We have community rooms in all of our centers. We have limited that right now because of COVID, but we do offer exercise classes like low impact cardio. We do arts and crafts. We have computers there because a lot of our patients, they like to get on the computer. They like to do Facebook, believe it or not. We have patients that's on TikTok. So we kind of help them kind of go through that. We have dominoes, and it's almost like the Boys and Girls Club for adults, so to speak. But those are things that they can do. And they don't have to be a patient to come in our community room. They can enjoy that. Right now, we are social distancing in that community room, and so space is limited. But we do want our patients to come in, and also patients are there sometimes as they wait to go back in the back. They come in and they have coffee. They watch TV. We make it comfortable for them. It's their room. And another good thing that we do, we provide transportation for our patients. So if they live within a 10-mile radius of our facility, we do pick them up and we take them back home. So that's a big benefit, and a lot of our patients take advantage of that benefit. And we do connect them with trusted insurance agents. So we do have a lot of patients that are just on traditional Medicare, and that's fine. But we want them to get the best and get the most out of their Medicare benefit. And so we do connect them with trusted insurance agents that they'll meet with them and kind of to see what Medicare Advantage plan may work best for them. And like I said, we do offer telehealth appointments, and that's at the discretion of the patient. Most patients come in, and we do follow CDC guidelines, of course. And one good thing about Oak Street, we don't double book. So when a patient comes in for a 40-minute visit or an hour visit, that's their time. They're the only ones in the office at that time. So we stress to our patients to keep those appointments because that's their time, and they have up to 40 minutes with the provider. The provider's not on they're not on the computer. They have up to 40 minutes just to sit down and talk with their doctor, go over their medical history, and plan and come up with a plan that best fit their needs. So that's another aspect that we offer at Oak Street. And we have doctors who listen, and they take that time, and we also help with them with their prescriptions for mail order and any other things that we can help them to just to overall give the best healthcare experience that they can't find anywhere else. And if you would like more information about Oak Street, if you're out there and if you're a senior that's watching tonight, or if you're not and you're a child, or a parent, or someone that you may have a parent that's maybe a Medicare recipient, or you may know someone that is, and they're in the Winston-Salem area, please have them to contact me directly. And if they're even in the Greensboro area or one of the other areas in the Piedmont Triad, they can still contact me, and I can get them to those centers that's in their region so we can get them taken care of. My my contact information is 336-744-4266. And that's my email address there at tamar.lipscomb at oakstreethealth.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that interesting presentation. What I really like about Oak Street is that not only because you work there, but because it provides wraparound services. You know, when have you been to a doctor's office where you can get everything and anything you need, from socialization to transportation?
Absolutely.
And everything is coordinated through the organization. Thank
Absolutely.
you, Tamar. You're truly an asset. We appreciate you sharing your information with us.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we have Miss Ivory Schley, who is coming to us from a very unique place called Afro Ag.
Hello, greetings, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Portia, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. I am Ivory Schley, and I am co-founder of Afro Agriculture. I'm going to share my screen. Hope everyone's having a good night. Let me conclude us here. Okay. Ta-da! Yes, can y'all see my slide? How do I do this? Play from start. Hello, can y'all see my screen? I'm gonna keep going unless I hear otherwise. So yes, hello, welcome to Afro Agriculture, LLC. And just so you know, this background picture, this is chicory. A lovely backyard, just sidewalk, random herb. That means a lot. All right, so who is Afro Agriculture? Agriculture's purpose is to share nature with young Afros. We focus on environmental and educational experiences. Right now in Atlanta, Georgia, and Greensboro, North Carolina. And our objective is just to shed light, to pass the next carrot, to pass the baton to the next generation of food insecure youth. That is a major issue along that we see today. Primarily Afro Agriculture, we have been established since 2020, and we offer workshops, summer camps, garden installations. We sell natural accessories, and we are also developing mentorships and training programs. Okay, so yes, our name is Afro Agriculture. Why Afros? So just brief, more background about myself. I am Ivory Schley. I met chicory while I was in college, and chicory is a beautiful plant that resonated with me. And just growing up, I have my bachelor's in agriculture, and my concentration is urban and community horticulture. So it wasn't until college that I was able to put a name to things I saw in my reality every day. I am from Atlanta. I am currently at my Atlanta home, metropolitan Atlanta. We're in the suburbs. Atlanta's pretty large. I'm in the suburbs. And I thought I was living all right, but little did I know, like, I'm in a food desert. Oh, I see these many McDonald's, these many Chick-fil-A's. It's just a overwhelming problematic issue when it comes to the conversation of people of color and how we interact with nutrition and health. So saying all that, food deserts, you may know, addresses our access to healthy and affordable food. Food deserts can also be called food apartheid. And food apartheid will confront how race, income, and geography impact this access to these necessary resources. Please notice this chart to the right. That is from the Food Research and Action Center, or FRAC. They make reports frequently to to just report how the nation and food hardship is going. And so from 2016, 2017, this recent chart, these are major metropolitan areas with you that really, really catch it hard with just difficult access to nutritious food. Bakersfield, California is #1. I believe that's Oakland. And if you skim around, y'all see number 7 and number 14. That's us, y'all. I am an Aggie pride. I am a very proud attendant of that university, and just thing of that location is just Greensboro strikes very hard to my Atlanta home. Guilford County has 24 food deserts. Forsyth County has 21. These are alarming numbers. This is ridiculous. This is and what makes it so home for me, what strikes home is that this is a community where there are a lot of Afros. Food deserts happen to be, like I said, race, income, and geography. There are urban food deserts, but rural food deserts as well. And it's not all about color, but things just overlap regarding how much money do you have and how much food may you access. And this chicory here just resonated with me because this is a beautiful, beautiful little periwinkle flower plant, a planty plant that I've just never been exposed to till I was 22, and it's just, why are we so disconnected to nature? So more Afros, we need to change the narrative of African American representation in the outdoors. So that's why we focus on Afros. Okay, let's move on to what about this agriculture? Afro Agriculture is also very adamant on just exposure to just the natural pieces, the natural elements in our life. I want to take a moment on defining agriculture, because this is my personal definition of agriculture right here. But if I were to go just a quick Google, what is agriculture? We see it's the science or practice of farming, cultivating, using plants and livestock. This is a nice general example of agriculture, and to even categorize it from agronomy to home science. But if Ivory can do her own definition, agriculture, right here, it is the human manipulation of Earth's natural resources for human survival. Whatever we have most available at hand determines our lifestyle and culture. So I personally believe agriculture is much more than just the plants and the meat that we consume. Yes, our food matters from the start to end, but there's so much in between, just everyday things that we overlook that's so major, that comes from outside, that comes from a plant, that comes from a rock. That just comes the air, water, give thanks, you know? There are many types of farmers. You can't talk about plants without also talking about soil and water. To be a researcher, there are so many, agriculture is just so broad. It's just so broad. And that's the beautiful part, just everything's intertwined. A water scientist, to be a water scientist, how good is the quality that we're drinking? How polluted are we making things? Or even the water, how wasteful are you in the shower? Let's be honest, when you're brushing your teeth, you leave the sink on, and just all those little intricate things, those things can add up. Being in a food desert, a common solution is to go to food banks or food pantries. A food bank distributor, that is a unique, perhaps more like non-profit route, but still yet very major, very important, critical to many low-income families. landscape architect, how good can you doodle? All of these details matter. An arborist, trees fall, trees aren't going anywhere. If you hit a tree, that tree gonna make it. You know, your car may not make it, but your tree will last. If a tree falls down in the road, trees are major. Marine biologists, the world is 3/4 water. What's a coral reef? What about these fish and these gators? And to just go on and on and on. A vet, if you're a vet, do you want to be with zoo animals? Do you just want to be with pets? How exotic do you want to be? There's so many different types of animals, so many characteristics, there's so many angles. Life is really your oyster. And just consider expanding a palette. I am 24, so just like youngins, please consider agriculture because it's there. It's not going anywhere. It's good or bad. It just makes sense to care about what's around you. So Afro Agriculture is committed to just shedding some light, exposure on what's out there, what's available, being outside. You don't have to go corporate. You can be very ethical and just have a wholesome, a holistic, righteous mentality towards how we approach nature is what we're about. Let's go on to North Carolina topics of specificities for a second. Jones Lake State Park, Hammocks Beach State Park, and Reedy Creek State Park. Just a little fun fact: these 3 parks were the first ones to for Blacks. They're people of African descent during Jim Crow America. And the Piedmont, the North Carolina Piedmont. So yes, we're in the Piedmont Triad. The Piedmont specifically is this little map on the right. And vaguely familiar, as it easily swoops through the colonies, the original colonies, one may say. The Piedmont is known for being like, it's between the coast and mountains, because to the left is the Appalachians. And so yes, even from where I am in Atlanta, Georgia right now, sweeping down from here all the way up through Greensboro and so on. Just highlighting some major cities that are in North Carolina Piedmont overall. There's Charlotte, the capital, which is Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro. And just to list a couple of historically Black colleges and universities in North Carolina's Piedmont. Of course, there's Winston-Salem, A&T, a proud Aggie in front of you, Central, Bennett, John C. Smith, St. Augustine, Livingston College, and Shaw University. Just to highlight a couple of Black features in North Carolina, African American heritage. So I just want to finish strong saying we want young Afros to leave Afro agriculture and with concepts of food literacy, entrepreneurial spirits, environmental stewardship, exposure to these agriculture careers, youth leadership, and education of STEAM. Nature is the best teacher. There's learning lessons everywhere. You don't have to point to a textbook to learn. The ant, just watching the ant move along, that can be deep. That's when nature is free therapy. So yes, to conclude, please follow us. Please follow Afro Agriculture on Instagram or on Facebook. Working on developing more. But in the meantime, please email us. Thank you for listening. And that is the end. Oh.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure our viewing audience and listening audience did great. Green space scarceness and connecting the food we eat to the places it comes from is so important. Great work. Good info. Food deserts plague Black neighborhoods all across America for sure. And our executive director from the Greensboro YMCA says this is great information not only for young Afros, but for the season. Now, with this, if you want more information, I have hooked up with this sister right here, the Achievers Program, and she is going to help us during the summer get our curriculum together as we come together with our garden towers, and we're going to try our own hand at fighting food insecurities around the Hayes Taylor YMCA over in East Greensboro. So thank you, Ivy. I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you being part of this platform. I appreciate you allowing us to be a part of what you're doing. Thanks again. If you want to connect with Ivy, she's did you leave your information? If you can put your information in the chat, that would be great. And this is a great place to segue. Again, for all of you that don't know, the Achievers Program is a college readiness, career exploration program, and leadership development program. So with this, Sister Ivy has given us, I heard 20 careers that could come out of working with agriculture. And for this young entrepreneur, this young sister, please, please, please support her where you can and when you can. We appreciate what you do. Next, we're going to bring up Kenan and Xavier, and they will help us close out as we talk to Mr. Eric Graves and listen to his presentation. Has this not been awesome so far?
Oh, I've enjoyed every part of it. Wonderful information from everybody. I've learned so much today. I can only say thank you, honestly.
Now, I'm going to make one comment before you move. So one of the Facebook users said we need that program in Reidsville. The Achievers Program is through the YMCA. These two young men right here are from Reidsville, and they are part of the Achievers Program. So yes, it is available in Reidsville through the YMCA. So contact the YMCA and they will tell you how to get in touch with me at Hayes Taylor Y. And yes, we need more people from Reidsville to become involved. Okay, gentlemen, take it away.
But if I may, just a quick little thing about the Achievers. It's helped me so much throughout my whole school career, so I do recommend it a lot, very heavily. But with that being said, the next man to come up is somebody who has been with the Achievers Program for as long as I can remember, ever since I've been a part of it. Mr. Eric Graves. He will be talking to us about Seoul City and how that worked and stuff like that. So take it away.
Thank you, Xavier. I appreciate the amazing introduction. And excuse me, I'm really happy to join you guys today and talk a little bit about Seoul City. I have a PowerPoint. We're going to go through it and we're going to get some good information. But what I really want to thank Ms. Portia and Mr. Holloway and Mr. I'm throwing out names here, and Mr. Mark Lee and everyone that's involved with this program is for giving us that whole grain history and not just the refined history. And as you know, whole grain is a little bit harder to digest, but it's the whole thing, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So we've been getting some whole grain history tonight. I am going to share my presentation and all right. All right. So I'm hoping you guys can see my my presentation here, and I'll be talking through it. If you can't see me, that's okay. So I'll talk a little bit about Seoul City. Now, Seoul City is something that's always been close to my heart. I've heard about it since I was a little boy. It's been the story and the lore, would you say, around Seoul City has been passed down throughout my family, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the presentation. So I'll talk a little bit about myself. My name is Eric Graves. I'm from Greensboro. I'm a proud pirate of Page High School and Guilford College grad. Currently, I'm a Fayetteville State student, and I have 3 jobs. So I'm a Communities and Schools Coordinator for Guilford County Schools. I am the Achiever Coordinator, Ms. Portia. I'm fortunate enough to have Ms. Portia as my boss and mentor and all of the above. I'm her adopted son, too. So also, I work for Greensboro Parks and Recreation and Youth Services, and we get to work with teens during the summer for our service learning camp. So my connection to Seoul City. Now, my mom's name is Leanne Graves. Her father, my grandfather's name is Ulysses Clayton, and Theosis T.T. Clayton and Eva Clayton are my grandfather's cousins. And so that's how they're related and how I'm related to Seoul City. And the common thread for a lot of us tonight has been our relation to Black history. And I think that this is a pivotal point to look into our family history and see that we have some connections to Black history. And there's either rich traditions of progression and the things that have helped build this nation, those are in our families. And so a lot of things have happened externally, try to break those down, our connections to our families. But I think it's really important to look into your own family, no matter what age you are. Look into your own family, because you've heard the stories about what's happened with Black history and your family's impact on Black history. And do you have a torch to carry? So let's talk about Warren County, which is really important. That's where Seoul City is located. Warren County is one of the oldest counties, formed from former Butte County in North Carolina in 1799. It was also a trading center for tobacco and cotton, so it's very wealthy and Southern gentry. Okay, so you also recognize within Warren County and Warrenton, a city in Warren County, that about more than half their buildings are still there. So that means somebody's been there to take care of those buildings. They've been passed down throughout families. So that lends to that very wealthy Southern gentry type of environment. And also Warren County is about halfway between Richmond, Virginia, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's going to play a very important role in the cotton and tobacco being between Richmond and Raleigh, North Carolina. It's about an hour from Raleigh, and it's about an hour and a half, an hour and some change from Richmond. And it's also the political cradle of North Carolina, and so, that some would argue actually the South. And so when you look at the individuals that have come through, been born in or had an impact in Warren County, they are some of the most pivotal people in North Carolina history or the history of the South and in politics. You have 2 governors of North Carolina, 2 members of Congress, which one of them includes Eva Clayton, who we'll get to in this presentation, several House speakers, and several admirals and generals within United States history. So let's talk about Seoul City. I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts, and then we're going to go into a little bit deeper on the information about Seoul City, because I wasn't taught this in school. I guarantee most of our folks that are joining in didn't hear anything about this. So Seoul City was a project founded by the civil rights activist and Asheville native Floyd McKissick. Now, our Mr. Brandon, who came on earlier, is absolutely right. Floyd McKissick did found Seoul City. Now, we're talking about Floyd McKissick Sr. There's senior and junior, and we're talking about senior here in 1969. And he was also the first Black UNC law student. So they chose Warren County because of its past as the slave labor powerhouse and its proximity to the Durham-Raleigh area, which is where Mr. Clayton and some of the individuals who were involved in Seoul City were located. They were close. Also, it's kind of a symbolic. These lands were, the wealth was made off of this land, right? Through slave labor. And part of deciding where to place Seoul City was, where can we place something that people have built on their own, right? To honor the past of those people that were disenfranchised and robbed of that wealth. And so that helped determine where Seoul City was located. Also, the land was cheap there. And so,
Eric, I'm sorry,
yes.
if I may, your screen's not up. You're not sharing. We can't see those
Okay.
beautiful slides.
All right. Is it up now?
No.
I am. You are missing my slides.
And I know you did not want that to happen.
That's okay. Can you y'all can see me and hear me?
Oh, yes, we can see and hear you great.
Okay, I'm gonna just roll on and I'm gonna talk to you.
All right.
I have 2 pictures of my slides. It's okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna roll right along and chat with you as long as y'all can see me.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Miss Portia. And so with
Resilience, adaptability.
there we go. And with Seoul City, roads were built as well as several municipal facilities and some of the most modern at the time. And this is extremely important. Mr. McKissick and the Seoul City Corporation, they wanted this to be a top of line, first class area, a development. So no punches were pulled. They put out all the stops and they really wanted this place to be something that's a shining beacon. And some of those facilities included a state-of-the-art water system, a healthcare clinic, and a massive steel and glass factory named Seoul Tech One. Now, Seoul Tech One was extremely important because it established a work base for those people who would be moving to Seoul City, and it was a place to attract businesses, attract those type of manufacturers. So the proposed city would have had about 44,000 residents by 2004. That was the projected number due to the size of the development and what jobs they thought would bring to the area. And Seoul City was funded by a $14 million bond issue guarantee from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and a loan of about $500,000, so $500,000 from First Pennsylvania Bank. The state of North Carolina also gave them $1.7 million, and private donors donated about $1 million to Seoul City. So we have this area that had streets. The streets had signs. It was laid out just like a development. We had a factory. We had a power station. We had all these things that we needed, right? We had state-of-the-art fundamentals for a city to be built. And this, well, I have a map of Seoul City, but the map of Seoul City just lines out where, again, where the development would be and some of the names of the development, which I'll talk about in a little while. So let's talk about the soul of it all, right? What was at the core of Seoul City? Now, it was a city for Black folks designed by Black folks. There were to be Black civic leaders, mayors, councilmen. There were to be Black-owned businesses. The Black dollar would drive the city economy. That's what they wanted to base it on, was the Black dollar. And there would be businesses centric to that Black dollar. Like we talked about earlier with Afro Ag, there were agriculture business and flower shops, farmers markets planned for this community. And there was also a Black police force planned, which is extremely important because Mr. McKissick recognized, and Mr. Clayton also recognized, that there was a deep, dark history of abuse of power. And what they wanted to do was eliminate that by creating a Black police force to be policed by folks that look like you and understand what's going on in your neighborhood. Now let's talk about life in Seoul City. So at this time, 1969, 1970, life in Seoul City, there were actually only about 150 residents at that peak. There are a few traditional homes built, but many home sites on the property were mobile homes. Actually, Mr. McKissick himself moved from where he was a very successful civil rights attorney and activist, moved from a really nice home into a mobile home to pursue his dream of founding this community. Some residents were college students who were Quakers. Others were part of counterculture youth movements, such as hippies, flower children, and those who just favored communal living. They heard about this and they moved to the area. So let's talk about the reality of Seoul City. So Seoul City may have been for Black people, but it was not exclusive to Black folks. Ads featured Black and white people, Black and white children playing together, which is very controversial at the time. And there were even white and brown street names. So the streets were named White and Brown Street, as well as there was a street named Duke Street. That was a prominent street planned in the community. And that was actually named after a local plantation in the area. So Seoul City suffered many challenges. Some of those were due to there were many racist elected officials still around, scaring off corporations from locating there. A looming economic slump contributed in Seoul City stagnation. There wasn't a lot of economic growth at the time, again, due to the fact that local politicians pressured companies not to move there, right? The press even held nothing back when they came to going after Mr. McKissick, publishing numerous articles accusing Seoul City of political payoffs, nepotism, and financial misappropriation, which resulted in lawsuits and investigations into the use of the funds by the city developers. Now, keep in mind, Mr. McKissick's circle was very small, and these were often people that were related to him, and the individuals that were not related to him often had folks working with him that were related to them. Just because this project was so revolutionary, they really wanted to keep it local. And these were individuals, again, from that Raleigh-Durham area. So let's talk about Theo, the lawyer. So Theosis Clayton served as general counsel for Seoul City during several crucial moments and was an integral part of the development of Seoul City. The land for Seoul City was first purchased in December 1969, and after 10 years of progress building a community, Senator Jesse Helms cut off the project at his knees. And as we know about Senator Jesse Helms, racism was a part of his being. We're going to be honest about that individual's place in history. He was a known racist, and some would say he was a proud racist. Helms took issue with the project's use of HUD funds, and that was just something that he could latch onto to try to bring the project down. After a year-long audit, the U.S. Government Accountability Office found no wrongdoing, but by then the damage was done. No Black-owned or otherwise business was willing to invest in the community. So much damage had been done by Jesse Helms through sending letters to prominent members of the community in Warren County and within the state of North Carolina that had vested interest in the Seoul City project that no one wanted to have a part of it. And I had just included a letter, I'll talk about it, from Senator Helms talking about how he did not want the project to go on. And I'll read a little bit of it because it really speaks to how pointed and purposeful he was in trying to tear down the project. From Mr. Helms to Ms. Harris. Should it be instituted immediately, both to avoid large expenditures for the continued operation of this boondoggle, and again, he called it a boondoggle, and it's in quotations in his own letter that he sent out, and to clearly finalize a mandate of the HUD resolution to protect the security and other interests of the United States. So his argument was that this whole project went against the United States. So I'm going to scan through. I'm sorry, you all. I'm going to scan through and find. So he didn't want to work with Mr. McKissick or Mr. Clayton on the project. He wanted to get rid of the entire project. And the purpose of this letter, he states later in the letter, is to completely eradicate the project. So he wants to completely wipe the project from the face of the earth. And again, the idea, it wasn't so much the idea of Black empowerment that upset him to the point where he took this project on as a personal vendetta. It was the idea of any type of harmony or racist living together under a Black managed system that really upset him. And so let's talk about the resolution. What happened? So HUD took over Seoul City's ownership the following year and auctioned the town off for $1.5 million. Mr. McKissick then sued HUD and later settled keeping ownership of the property. So about 88 acres of the 5,000 originally is what he was able to keep, remaining in Seoul City. The Seoul City sign was moved closer to a more developed area, and several municipal buildings still remain there. A majority of the area has been developed into single-family housing. Let's talk about the legacy of Seoul City. Mr. McKissick was appointed state district court judge by North Carolina Governor James Martin less than a year later while working as pastor of First Baptist Church of Seoul City. McKissick died of lung cancer at the age of 69. He was buried in the town that he helped build and will always be credited as the first African-American to officially develop a new city with federal funding, which was a huge task considering the small size of his team. The first African-American woman to represent North Carolina, Eva Clayton, also became the state's first Black representative since 1901, and that was his wife. And so Theo, Mr. Clayton, served as lead attorney in the largest civil rights case in America at its time. He successfully represented over 4,000 people in Sledge versus J.P. Stevens, an employment discrimination case that was litigated for over 20 years. And so with that, we also have these little nuggets that go with Soul City. So within the era of Soul City beginning to just exist, toxic trucks with waste came towards Soul City. So a study was done as to where to place these trucks, where to place this this toxic waste within Warren County. And of course, Soul City, or the area, was selected because there were Black residents or poor residents who they didn't think would speak up for themselves. And so in 1982, residents of that area, many of whom had lived in Soul City, laid down in the street an act of civil disobedience that marked the birth of civil rights-based environmental justice movement. Even Floyd McKissick himself was arrested during the protest, but the trucks couldn't stop from being entered. So when you think about protesting for the environmental rights of Black and brown folks, this was the first instance of that happening, and it happened in Warren County, and it happened right outside of Soul City. And so that is my presentation, and I'm going to try to find myself again. Here we are. That's my presentation. I want to thank Ms. Portia, and I want to thank everyone involved in setting up this evening's event. I also want to particularly thank our teen achievers for their extremely hard work in hosting this evening and bringing history to their generation. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm back in. Eric, as always, thank you for this wonderful presentation. I don't know about everybody else, but I've just learned so much. Mr. Lee says there was a rural station that lasted for years. Valerie, and James S. Lee are his parents. Mark Lee says he also grew up in Warrenton. His parents founded WBSP in the late 70s. Mr. Brandon said he worked with Eva and T.T. Clayton on the Voter Ed project. So, I mean, there's just nuggets and tidbits of history, and you see how things are starting to connect. And, we have more likenesses than we do differences. So I really appreciate this. Greg Lee says, awesome, brother. Our resident history professor, Valencia Abbott, said, wonderful program. Thank you. Tanisha Cobb, great presentations this evening. For anybody that knows me, the library lady, you knew I was either going to do some storytelling or making sure that Black history was first and foremost in this. Working with the Achievers, and you can chime in, Eric, anytime you want to. We've asked for years, we allow the Achievers to participate in putting together the curriculum. Every year we ask, what would you like to see? And it's always the same answer. We want more Black history.
Definitely.
Even last week.
And I want to let everyone know that what you guys can do to help the Achievers program is go to Facebook and go to GBORO Achievers. So that's GBORO Achievers, and go ahead and like our Facebook page and share it. And also, if you know any teens in the Greensboro, Reidsville, High Point area, go ahead and share our Facebook page and tag them in it too. So invite them to be friends like us, add us, invite them. And we meet every first and third Saturday for our Achievers program with our teams. We have a hybrid program, so due to COVID, we have limited numbers that meet in person, but we also cast on Zoom simultaneously. So it's a hybrid program. We can have 400 people participate, but you can join us every first and third Saturday, and all the information is on the YMCA of Greensboro website under Hayes Taylor and under Team Programs and Achievers, or you can find us on our Facebook page at G Borough Achievers. Please join us. I will drop that in the chat box.
Awesome. Even though we still had a challenge with COVID, we found a way to work around that, and we're able to reach as many teens as possible. Adults, you're welcome to come work with us and just to see what it is that we do. We're 23 years young at the Hayes Taylor YMCA and over 50 years young at the YMUSA. We're getting ready to close out. I just hate to leave. There's been just so much information that has come through here, lots of nuggets. I'm getting ready to get to Google. Well, I guess when I can Google, and I'm going to start looking up some of this information so I can get even more. So with that, we're going to have Mr. Mike Harris come and close us out. Again, thank you, audience, for staying with us and listening to what it is that was presented. Thank you, Achievers, for your hard work and just being there and trusting Mr. Eric and myself to do what needs to be done. Thank you, everybody that's participated in this project. Brother Mike, take us out.
Thank you, Mom. Appreciate you, Black Queen. You've done a phenomenal job putting this together. I want to say thank you to Hayes Taylor YMCA for having a wonderful lady like that doing what she do, man. Thank her and her staff. I would like to send a big, warm welcome to everybody that's going to come view this. Please come back, come back. Thank you, Ms. Williams, for your words that you gave us today. Carry your green book. I love that. Thank you, Mr. Brandon. When you said, take a seat at the counter. Don't get tired of aggravating people. Those words mean so much. Then I want to go and say thank you, Ms. Lipsky, for talking about Oak Street Health. Where you saying, you know, that I want to say, she said, you're not a number. You are a patient. You know, and that means a lot. You're not just a number. So it means you are a patient. They're gonna care about you there. Then Afro, she came with a great talking about breaking down the agriculture. Some great information there. We thank you for that. And last but not least, we thank Mr. Eric Graves for what he told us, man. You know, do you have a torch to carry? You know, what's your torch? Are you gonna carry your torch? Or are you gonna pass the baton? And last but not least, though, we would love to thank Mr. Settle and Mr. Peel for their well done job they done for introducing everybody, man. I love it. Young Kings being groomed up from Hayes Taylor YMCA, man. They done a great job. Y'all phenomenal, man. Keep doing what y'all doing, young men. I love it. I love it. I love it. I thank God for our ancestors that has paved the way for us. Thank God for those that came back to share history with us tonight. Again, we want to thank NC 100 for everything they've done for this. NC 100, Hayes Taylor. We want to thank Dr. Kelly. Appreciate you. We want to thank Mr. Mark Lee. This would not have been possible without these two. We're so thankful and grateful for y'all too for making this happen, man. In 3 weeks of time, made this happen. Again, I want to welcome everybody to tomorrow. Tomorrow is Economic Day. Day 3 of Economic Day is day 3. Don't miss out on Economic Day, man. We've had Black Love, Black History, then Economic Day is tomorrow. Don't miss out. In closing, I want to thank each and every one that's donated, that's sponsored. I want to thank my vendors. I want to thank our followers. I want to thank everybody that liked and shared. I want to thank Cobb's Grill for their donation. Go come to Reidsville. Go get something to eat at Cobb's Grill. Thank Cobb's Grill. I want to, again, say thank you, everybody that has viewed us the last 2 days, man. We could not do this without y'all, man. Y'all are making this possible, man. We're making history, man. due to COVID, we're making a way to get the information out, man. So we say thank you for the Next Generation Alliance for backing us up, for supporting us, to making, how I would say, making some noise. Don't get upset. Let's make some noise and let's make some things happen, man. Thank each and every one of y'all, man. Come tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Black Economic Night.
I'm going to leave you with these words. In your home, in your car, wherever you are, just repeat after me. The night is beautiful, and so are the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful, and so are the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun, and beautiful also are the souls of all of my people. Good night.